Welcome back to Florida Powerboat Club on YouTube, here with Stu Jones and producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studios. Guys, we are just rolling through all this fun content that we're seeing from the earlier Miami Boat Show poker run, which took place back in February on a beautiful weekend in the Florida Keys, and on the heels of the Miami Boat Show, which is an annual event for us, 28 years now. So before we get started with episode 2, let's thank our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor for the FPC 2023 series of events is Mercury Racing, celebrating 50 years of wide open. And by these sponsors in alphabetical order: Big Thunder Marine, Blackwater Boats, Cigarette Racing Team, Concept Boats, Deep Impact Custom Boats, Doug Wright Powerboats, Fountain Powerboats, Midnight Express Boats, Nortec High Performance Boats, Performance Boat Center, Plantation Boat Mart, SD Marine Group ISLAMORADA, Statement Marine, and Top Gun Performance, dealers for cigarette racing. And as we did in our previous episode, we are going to begin at the Miami Boat Show, which was just a few days before the commencement of our Miami Boat Show poker run. And this is a fact that is not lost on the producers of this show and, of course, of the Florida Powerboat Club's events, because this event by design was really created to follow along after the Miami Boat Show poker run. We called it the Manufacturers Rally, which got started in the mid-90s. Now, of course, we just call it the Miami Boat Show poker run. But we spend time with our video crew here at the Miami show, and we focus on all of the leading manufacturers and the sponsors of the Florida Powerboat Club. This, of course, Concept Boats, who have been involved with the club for some time now. And this, their 4400, very popular model. That this particular boat is owned by a Florida Powerboat Club member. He allows Concept to use his boat for the shows, and why not? What's not to love? It is one of the nicest concepts ever built. Then again, the Performance Boat Center gang, they're selling Velocity now, and we had to look at this little 29. What a cool hot rod with a pair of Mercury Racing 400Rs. Of course, Performance Boat Center sells a full line of boats, including the Performance Powerboats Cat brand, and now, of course, they have been and continue to be the leading seller of SUNSATION. And they always have a SUNSATION, usually a 32, a 34, or a 40 CCX model here at the Miami show, and usually at our events as well. There's a great look at that 40 CCX model, that one with triple Mercury Racing 450Rs. That one didn't make it down to the Miami run, but another one just like it was registered by Brett Menier, and he brought his entire crew, and they had the boat on display at the Postcard Inn. So, of course, the boats here are all static at the dock here on display, but when they come on the poker run, that's when we're going to get a chance to see them underway at speed and fully loaded with an entire crew of people having fun. And speaking of having fun, well, let's get back to the poker run, because we're here at Grove Harbor Marina getting ready for the Thursday start. And once again, I like starting here because it gives you a good sort of vantage point of how many boats are attending and just what kind of weather we're having, which so far looks pretty fantastic. In fact, right through the Miami Boat Show, and then following that right to the dates of our poker run, we had fantastic February weather. Very dry and clear skies, light winds, and what a stark difference to what we had back in November when we had a hurricane coming through Miami for the Key West poker run. And it, pretty much upset the entire format of the event and messed it up for so many of us. But we're not going to have to deal with any of those issues here today on this beautiful Thursday as we see the teams loading up their boats. And we can't thank the team at Grove Harbor Marina enough for all of the effort they do to bend over backwards. Speaking of bending over, Hagen has really got a good pose going here, and even dancing at about 9:30 in the morning. The girls got energy, let me tell you. And just referencing the lineup of boats here, we just saw a little pack of Midnight Express boats. Total of 5 Midnights registered for the run, which isn't bad. The ranking overall is pretty stout, with Cigarette at 14 registered boats, MTI at 7, Nortec at 6 registered teams, Midnight with their 5, and then a handful of builders, Statement, Doug Wright, Fountain, Skater, and Deep Impact, all at 3 apiece. But a really cool mix of boats. I mean, I think this is the first time I've seen this in a long time, but of the 70 registered teams, we have a total of 26 different manufacturers, and those numbers are unprecedented. I've never seen that many different boat brands on a 70 boat poker run ever. And I'm doing my best to keep track of these numbers more on these bigger events because it really shows that this industry is huge and it just keeps getting bigger all the time. Seeing new products coming out from all over the country and even some imported boats coming in from overseas. And of course, they're all powered by Mercury Racing. No question about that Mercury Racing continues to lead in the propulsion market for the Florida Powerboat Club. And that spreads right across the entire performance industry. And it doesn't matter if you have a performance V-bottom like this 42X powered by 1100s, or if you have a performance center console, or even an outboard catamaran. Mercury Racing has led the charge for 50 years, and they're going to lead it for the next 50 for sure. And they will undoubtedly hold that position for as long as we're in this sport. And our first up team for the poker card today is Team Miss BEHAVIN, Catherine Dameron in her 42-foot cigarette, powered by Quad Mercury Racing 450Rs. And you can see her already. She is just wound up and having a blast, and she was like that all weekend long, just like the Energizer Bunny. So she ended up getting a nice award for that on Friday night. And one of those 5 Midnight Express models we told you about is Chris and Andrea McCauley, Team Next Episode. It's a 43 Solstice model, brand new boat, 2023, with 5 Mercury Racing 450s. I love the blue with the color-matched Mercury Racing engine cowlings. What a great-looking boat. Traveled 1,700 miles to be here with us. And another team a long way from home, Gavin Jafarian from Massachusetts in this 38-foot cigarette Top Gun. It's an old school boat. I don't see a step, so I'm wondering if it is an original straight bottom boat. He'll have to straighten me out on that. I'm not sure what year it is, but some big power, twin 700s. And all the way from Indiana, Nick and Christy Evans and Team Recovered Money 2. It's an older statement, and that's why it's a 368 model, which they don't make anymore, 36 foot. It's a 2013 hull build, but ever since they bought this boat, they've been doing way more poker runs. They say they can bring more friends with them, so it's really a great platform for doing poker runs. Of course, if they want to go fast, they still have that big 50-foot Nortec cat. And a nice shot of our entire dock crew handing out the poker cards. Our 2 FPC girls, Kendall and Kelly. You wanted to meet them. And then George Ariano pulling up to the dock in his Victory 47. In fact, we have 2 victories registered for the event, but only one. And they've only made one with this layup. It's a former race boat. Now has an open cockpit for poker runs, and TNT just re-rigged the boat with Mercury Racing 1350s. And it's time for the lovely Jessica to get her card on the Wright Performance or Performance Powerboat. Not sure, but we got Rusty at the helm from Performance Boat Center. Bringing this boat down for the weekend, and will be on display at the Postcard Inn and, of course, available for demo rides. I love these drone shots. You're getting the bird's eye view of the card checkpoint now with George Ariano's second boat registered, the DCB 35, powered by Mercury Racing Dual Cal 1100 1350s. Pulling wide now away from the dock. You can see the tail end of my cigarette. There I am. I've actually got the iPhone out and getting that boat-to-boat coverage as well. Checking in on Rocco and his crew on the 34 Victory. I love these boat-to-boat angles because you really get a chance to see the teams up close and personal. There's Sean and Shelby in their 388 Skater, fairly new to the club. Team Blugatti, then that is a family weekend with the kids going down to ISLAMORADA. Simon Williams and his crew on the Fountain. Looks like that's the new ARTH, Rick Spade, and he joined us for Key West a few months earlier. Back off in the distance, the Outer Limits from the Perrys. I think this is Gary Morakal in Family of 4, the 39 Nortec. Connor and Allie in their 32 Doug Wright. Looks like Frank Bolte and Captain Sean on the 44-foot MTI. And then that's a Renegade that looks like Daniel Cates off in the distance. Another 48-foot MTI cat. This time it's Bob Lottis, another 1350 boat. You know, really, really strong showing. 3 48 MTIs on this run. Of course, an MTI dealer now pulling up to the dock, Brett Minier, Performance Boat Center. He's running this SUNSATION 40 CCX. Got the ladies on board today as he pulls up to the dock. And this is nice to see them out enjoying the weekend because, remember, they just had a very long, almost a 6 or 7 day Miami boat show by the time you get set up and get out of there. So it's nice for them to get away on the poker run. and like to listen to the rumble. Even if it's a single engine, this is a full-on race boat. The third entry from Team 151 Express, George Ariano, and that is a full-blown offshore race boat. And remember, guys, it's only February right now. Race season isn't going to begin for another 3 months. So George likes to get his race boats out and dust them off and keep them well lubed. And that's really what they're doing. They're using these poker runs as a shakedown for the race boat, and nothing wrong with that. And for those who like to follow offshore racing trivia, Team 151 Express is not going to be limited to this Phantom this year. George has his eyes on a MTI 390X full race version. At about this time, I think he bought the boat maybe a few weeks after this run, and he's getting it ready to race in the Mercury 450 class. There's the shot you guys were waiting for. Yes, indeed. You wanted to get up close and personal with Kelly and Kendall doing their job as now Rocco pulls up to the dock in his 34-foot victory, a boat that he's been enjoying for well over 2 years now, a 2021 victory with Mercury 450Rs. And welcoming our newest members to the club, this is Sean and Shelby Axamit. And in fact, they're going to be married later this year down at Playa Largo in the fall. But it's their second event with the club in their Skater 388. They keep the boat at TNT, and that's actually Braden from TNT Marine Sales riding along for the poker run. And of course, another beautiful catamaran, Chris and Lori Nizetta and Team Blue Gotti, 48-foot MTI Mercury Racing 1350s, and they're going to make it a family weekend. Got the kids along. I'm going to head down and have a good family time at Postcard Inn for the weekend. And welcoming our newest sponsor to the club, Team Fountain Powerboats, represented by Simon Williams and his first mate D on this brand new Fountain 38 SCX model. They represent the Cortez Cove Fountain dealership in Bradenton, Florida. The SCX features dual row seating, and you can see triple Mercury Racing 450Rs. What a great poker run boat. Well, this is going to wrap up our poker card segment here at Grove Harbor Marina. Guys, it's time for some fast and furious fun. Let's get out on Biscayne Bay and hit the throttles. And to capture all the excitement, our FPC photo and video crew riding on board this Robinson R44. They took off from Pompano Beach, so it was a bit of a taxi down, about a half hour of flying, and they caught up with us in Biscayne Bay as we hit the throttles. And here we start things off with Eddie Collier, his first mate Emma on board this Deep Impact 399. Powered by Quad Mercury Racing 450Rs. And Deep Impact doesn't have a demo boat to display right now, so Eddie's boat is going to be on display at the Postcard Inn. And it's a sneak peek with Jesse and Stephanie Newman in this brand new Nortec 400 Super Sport, a boat that's been released just over a year now. We saw the first one at the Miami Boat Show, and we promise to have a lot more of this boat in a future episode. And proving without a doubt that we have a very eclectic mix of old and new, and especially this old school 41 Apache. Michael Friedman, a member with probably 30 years of seniority with the club. He's getting active again with this 41 Apache. He still has a lot of boats in his stable there in Fort Lauderdale, but seems to be that this is the one that always runs and easy for him to get it out and get it in the water. So nice to see Michael Friedman back enjoying these poker runs. And of the three Doug Wright powerboats registered, this one only has the full canopy. It's a full race edition Mercury Racing 450Rs, piloted by J.R. Aiden, the new co-owner of Doug Wright Powerboats in Melbourne, Florida. And we're going to see a lot more of this boat and a lot of JR throughout this episode. He's actually going to host a party for us on the Saturday Fun Run. And I think in some ways there's a similarity to George Ariano with bringing his race boats out on the poker run circuit. Remember, racing doesn't start for another few months, so it's nice to get these race boats out, shake them down, and join us for a few poker runs in February and March. And some very scenic shots as these boats pass underneath the Card Sound Bridge into Barnes Sound, and that means we're getting closer to Key Largo now, catching up with Daniel Goldberg in this Nortec 390 Sport, all white, and therefore he has named it Team SHADOWFAX after the mythical horse from Lord of the Rings. And it's another team with a center console that's a one-off boat here for this poker run. Rick Spade in SPADEMADE. It's a 33-foot ARTH, a brand new 2023 model. Triple Mercury Racing 300Rs. His second event with the club, but his first Miami Boat Show poker run. He joined us for the Key West event back in November. And what's his favorite thing about powerboating? He says being on the water and socializing. Well, you came to the right place, Rick, because you got plenty of that all weekend. And I get my little moment of fame here for a few seconds. The brand new, well, new to me anyway, Top Gun Flight 1130, new Mercury Racing 565. It's a boat that's been campaigned now since 2018. And back then, you guys recall, it was called Project 1080, the sum horsepower of the two Mercury Racing 540 stern drive. So thanks to Mercury Racing, we went back to a full repower with the 565's ITS. Of course, still got the DTS, digital throttle and shift. And you've got to love the sound of these Mercury Racing 565s. And a very special introduction to my good friend Captain Brian Molinax, formerly of Seakeeper, now with Ox Marine, the diesel outboards that he's running on this 32-foot Metal Shark Marine. It's an all-aluminum boat and a fantastic one at that. He's our safety patrol boat for the weekend, and I really appreciate Captain Brian getting out here and being involved. So I decided to play around a little bit, waiting for Captain Brian to catch up, doing my figure 8 with the cigarette Top Gun out there. And Brian just seemed to get here at the opportune time to completely drive over top of my brand new figure 8. But it looks like we almost had this planned. But look how we came together here, like we knew what we were doing. Of course, that same figure 8 I used in the advertising for the Big 8 summer tour of 8 poker runs I'm doing with the cigarette. And it was a guy's trip for Daniel Cates and his buddy and team, Naughty 2019 Renegade Center Console 33 Open with triple Mercury Racing 400Rs. That's great power for this center console. Daniel and the team traveled 600 miles from Georgia to join us. And here we are at Gilbert's in Key Largo, our favorite place to stop in, have lunch, and get that feeling of arriving in the Florida Keys. It doesn't get much better than this, guys. And on a beautiful Thursday here in February, going to be a nice party going on underneath that big tiki bar. And look at the way the boats have all lined up so nicely. Was really happy with this whole raft up situation. We had just the right size group for Gilbert's. It wasn't really overly crowded. It gave everybody a lot of spacing. We didn't have to put the boats out 10 or 15 deep like we have to sometimes on the bigger events like Key West. But this worked out very, very well in my opinion. And, thumbs up to all of you guys for, you see how the cats are with the cats and the performance Vs are matched up. The center consoles are matched up nicely. I think this is the way it needs to be done, guys, and you guys nailed it on this one. Of course, we've been coming here for many, many years, and we thank all of the staff at Gilbert's for really rolling out the red carpet to us and reserving the docks for our events as they have done for many, many years. We're into a completely new ownership group here for the last 6 or 7 years. Remember the German Reinhardt and his wife used to own the property, but a gentleman named John Weisberg bought the property 7 or 8 years ago and have since passed away. We lost John. He was a great guy, lost him to cancer. And his wife and widow, Elena, has remained on at the helm and does a great job commanding this crew. And they have not skipped a beat as far as offering us a fantastic experience arriving here at Gilbert's. The rooms have been completely redone. You can see the hotel off in the background. Not a lot of rooms, just 30 rooms here, but they're nice rooms. They've cleaned them up, made them very presentable, and a few other rooms off in the other building on the other side of the lot. But this just continues to be a fantastic destination, not only as a stopover to continue on into the Florida Keys, but even as a lunch destination for a quick run down, just for a one-day fun run. And, from Miami, it's less than 50 miles. And even from Fort Lauderdale, on a good day, you can get down here in good time on the protected waters of Biscayne Bay, settle in here for a couple of hours for lunch, and then get back on the water and get home before dark. So it still continues to be one of our favorite lunch destinations for the Florida Powerboat Club and for, of course, all boaters transiting through the Florida Keys. And most of you regulars know this already, but good to remember that Gilbert's occasionally does get a lot of current ripping through here. Makes it very difficult to dock on these finger piers. So just a quick rule of thumb, it's always good to have your lines and your fenders ready every time you arrive at Gilbert's. So let's say farewell to Gilbert's, at least for now. We've only got a short ride, about another 20 miles to our destination in Islamorada. And with our lunch stop near completion, time to get the helicopter up in the air again. And thanks again to SD Marine Group here at mile marker 85 Snake Creek for allowing us to use their helipad to set the R-44 down on the ground. The guys had lunch across the way over at the Island Grill. And from a logistics standpoint, from an organizer standpoint, this is just fantastic. So thumbs up to the gang at SD Marine Group. They have got themselves a little footprint in paradise here and slowly developing the property for full marine service, a restaurant, a small boutique hotel. They just bought the marina across the way on the other side of US 1. They have got it nailed here. So happy to have them a part of the Florida Powerboat Club family. Now we got the money shop, which appears to be shaping up here. Blackwater Sound off in the distance as all the boats head over from Gilbert's. They've just passed through Duesenberry Creek. Now we're in Tarpon Basin. So this is a vantage point, getting all the boats coming out of that mangrove waterway. And it's you can see all the trails of the boats that didn't make it through on lower tide situations. But the tides are good right now. As long as you stay in the channel and hug that red marker, you're going to be just fine. More importantly, what I'm seeing here now, as all the boats are weaving through in a single file basis with good spacing, this is how you do it, guys. And this is probably, well, without a doubt, is the best I've seen in a very, very long time. Even that big MTI could be running much, much faster, but he's just got the thing on cruise control, as well as this Midnight 43, that's Christian McCauley. And these guys here got a little hot, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, all taking the bend at the same time. Not the way to do it, guys. Absolutely not. You got a single file, space it out, and be safe. That wasn't a good way to execute that turn. These guys seem to have the rhythm back to what we're looking for. Remember, it's only a short little run here getting through these mangrove waterways. And you guys really have to practice a little patience. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the ride, think about safety, think about the boat in front of you and the boat behind you. And that's the right way to do it, and it's the way we've been doing it for 30 years. So if you sit and look at this whole thing on a chart or a nautical map, you'll see that there's really only about 3 or 4 sections of mangrove waterways that you have to pass through. So, taking your time and doing it right, I think is the important thing. Remember, I saw a little boat off to the side fishing there. A lot of people are enjoying these waterways that are not a part of the poker run. They're not in big offshore power boats. They're in little fishing boats, flats boats. They're sometimes on paddle boards or they're in kayaks. There's environmental tours that go through here. So it's important for you guys to all understand that we don't own these waterways. We share the waterways with other boaters. We must be respectful of them and respectful of Mother Nature and the general environment and the ecosystems here. And, if we can all do that, and if we can all get through here safely and slowly and carefully, then we can all enjoy our day of boating and not upset anybody else in the due course of just trying to go out and have a fun day. But this whole group right here, one by one, negotiating the turn safely and getting into these waterways. So as I said, there's only about 5 or 6 miles of mangrove waterways in the Upper Keys from Key Largo through to Islamorada. And once we get through them safely, it's pretty much wide open running in these bay waters. So enough about that. Let's have some fun with Team Midnight Express now. Eric Glazer at the helm, his lovely bride Hagen having some fun in her red bikini. Got a small crew on board today. I'm a little surprised, actually. Eric and Hagen have had some big teams, some big crews joining us on recent events. But I think that is Leslie Fuentes up on the bow, just kind of chilling out and, taking a breather after a long Miami boat show. She probably was working every day, long hours. So now it's kind of time to chill and enjoy this big Midnight Express 52 Vitesse. Beautiful styling, plenty of creature comforts on board, 5 Mercury Racing 450Rs and a giant cabin down below. Guys, it doesn't get much better than this. Cruising all day long at 55 or 60 miles per hour, enjoying the Florida Keys. And at the very opposite end of the spectrum for that center console is this 40-foot MTI run by Wes Abraham. It's a boat that's been in the club for many years, but it's new to Wes, got some serious power. Let's listen in. Oh, I'm glad we're catching up with Rick Regal again in this 42X powered by Mercury Racing 1100s. We saw some of Rick in the last episode running in the rough stuff offshore. Now he's in these calm bay waters and he's on the throttles. Let's listen in. And it's one more time with our newest club members, Sean and Shelby Axemet from Arizona. This is a 388 skater with Mercury Racing 1350s. They keep the boat at TNT Marine Center. Out for their second poker run with the club. They just joined us for the winter event back in January. Let's get a closer shot. Team off the wall, brand new Fountain 38 SCX 2023 model with those brand new Mercury V10 400s, which makes this essentially the same boat as the one that Simon Williams brought in different colors and different layout, but overall the same boat, an SCX model, ideal for poker runs, really not for fishing but more for fun and high performance. And the Walls are making this a family weekend with their twin girls who they brought along. And also riding along are club members Steve and Ashley Rack, who joined them with their daughter Scarlett. And since he took delivery of this new Deep Impact 399 over a year and a half ago, Eddie Collier has wasted no time getting out on the poker run circuit and has done many events in this Deep Impact 399. It's powered by Quad Mercury Racing 450Rs. He's got his first mate Emma on board, and I know that these guys love to play. When they get down to the dock at ISLAMORADA, they're going to hang around for one night, but they're going to get back out on the water immediately because they love going boating, and for them it's no big deal just to go down to Key West for lunch. And not more than 2 or 3 miles away from where they are right now is their dealer for Deep Impact, Plantation Boat Mart in Tavernier. Well, guys, that was a fantastic episode with a little bit of everything for everyone, and I really enjoyed seeing all these boats, and what a great mix of high-performance fun and fun-loving people that come from all over the United States to join us. Well, guys, we got to move on to episode number 3, so we're going to break it off now and hit the reset button for episode number 3 with feature coverage of the 28th annual Miami Boat Show Poker Run, and I know you guys don't want to miss a single minute of that show, so be sure to subscribe to our channel right now. Bang! Hit that button and click the notification bell so you'll get an update every time a new episode is released. Be sure to check out the website at flpowerboat.com for all of the details about upcoming poker run events in 2021, as well as membership information. You can follow us on Facebook at Florida Powerboat Club, and you can follow us on Twitter and on these Instagram pages. Thanks to all of our viewers for your wonderful comments on our page, and you guys know who you are, and I really do appreciate that. But if you have questions or comments you want to direct to me specifically, please use my personal email at stu@flpowerboat.com. I check that daily, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We're going to sign off for now. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio. Have fun out there, guys. Be safe on the waterways. Wear your life jackets when the time is right, and always respect your fellow boaters. Bye for now.